Hello. In this video we'll be going through some of the basics of Cthulhu, a deck building game. You may use this as a how-to video on learning the game. So first we'll open the box, and inside you'll find an instruction manual, your investigator cards, and a tray with all the other cards. We'll now go through each of the different types of cards as detailed in the instruction manual. So first we have investigator cards. There are several to choose from. Each one has a name, a backstory, telling you a little bit about the character. They have a special ability that is unique to this particular character, and they have an after death effect that takes effect once you perish. Along the top you have a health indicator, and along the bottom you have a sanity indicator. Your different characters have different health and sanity as part of the balance of the particular character. Like I said, there are several to choose from. And some of these were some of our Kickstarter exclusives. I think we're going to try, I think when we do our demonstration we'll do the Magician. Also in the box you're going to find these sliders. These are used to put along the top and the bottom of the card. They start out in the maximum values for each character, like so. The other thing we have in the box, we have starter cards. There are stagger cards, and it says starter here at the top. There are stagger cards, which are really pretty much dead cards for most characters, and we have the starter card of a sleuth, which gives you you gain 1 moxie with that, which we'll get into in just a few minutes with what moxie is. Each player is going to start with a hand of the starter cards. We also have in here these logbooks. These are used to help you keep track of the health of the bad guys. You can use the sliders to keep track of health with this card as well. And it also has a reminder of the game phases, which we will get to in a later video. We also have a large stack of what is the library. This is the largest stack in the game, and each card has a type. So this particular one is a spell. This is your cost of how much it costs in moxie, the description, and what the actual card does when it's played. So there are spells. There's equipment. As you can see, it's equipment. And equipment are physical things that you may have. Obviously spells are things that you can do. Another spell. We also have locations. Locations are unique because once they're purchased and activated, they stay active for the remainder of the game. We have actions, which are things that you do, obviously. I believe those are the types. So yeah, action, equipment, spells, and locations. And the reason for the types is different types of characters get different advantages for different things. For example, our magician here, spells cost 3 less moxie to buy from the Miskatonic University, which is the library, to a minimum of 1. So we'll show how that gets set up in just a few minutes. Next we have the Mythos cards. These are the bad guy cards, if you will. And they have Mythos on the back. They don't really have types. The only thing that you'll see, sometimes there are permanent Mythos cards, which I'll show one in just a minute. You have the name of the card, and then you have the description of what happens when it gets activated. You'll also sometimes see these green circles with IC in it. That indicates the investigator count, which is the number of investigators that are playing the game at a certain point in time. So a lot of times these will spawn minions. They'll do bad things. They'll hurt you, etc. Here is an example of a permanent card, and you'll see that it's indicated as permanent right under the name. When a permanent card comes out, that indicates that it stays active even after the cleanup phase, which we'll get to the phases in just a few minutes. The next thing I want to show is the Elder Gods. These are the big bads that you may face. You do not obviously have to face all of the Elder Gods to win. There is a number of Elder Gods you choose to fight at the beginning of the game. But you have how much health they have at the top. You have their name, obviously. This is our big bad, Cthulhu. And the description of what they do during the combat phase. And again, they also have this investigator count indicator. You'll see that sometimes it'll say investigator count minus a number or plus a number. That's to help with the scale of the game. So if you were playing a 2-player game, that would be spawn 2 minus 1, which would be 1 fire vampires in this case. There is a minimum, so if you were playing a 1-player game, that always calculates to a minimum of 1, so you cannot go to a zero value. And we have several Elder Gods to choose from. And they all do slightly different things. It makes the gameplay different every time you play. The last set of guys I have them divided up using the provided game card dividers that come with the game. There are 11 different minions, where there are 10 of every one except for 1. So it is best actually to keep these organized in the box, very similar to the way I had it, because you'll need to pull these guys out pretty frequently. There are, like I said, several of the same ones because you can spawn many of the different types of minions. Once you defeat a minion, it goes back into the box so that it may get spawned again. If for some reason you're in a world of hurt and you spawn more minions than you have cards for, you'll need to represent those unfortunate extra numbers with either use the divider card, or you can use another minion turned upside down to indicate how many are actually out there. But hopefully you won't get above 10 of any particular minion. So those are all the card types. Next we'll get into setup.